Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker. I'm a few minutes late, and I apologize for that. I do like being punctual. I don't like to waste people's time or anything like that, and so I apologize. However, I don't understand. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties with today's guest. We can see him. He cannot see us. I can hear him, but he cannot hear us. So we're trying to get things worked out. So in the meantime and in between time, as we work on some behind the scene things, I'm going to put this up on the screen quick. All right. Stand by. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you guys for tuning in. We're still working out some kinks. We do want to bring to you an amazing live tonight. We do have a special guest. Things are getting worked out. We're gonna make this happen. I understand we're gonna make this happen. Is that right, Shayla?
That is correct. I didn't realize I was going to be on the screen so quickly. I'm glad I was paying attention.
Yeah, I'm glad you were paying attention too. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker. When we get everything set up, this will be a live and interactive live itself. So keep your comments coming, keep your questions flowing. We're gonna have some good commentary. He's a good point of view from the guest today. He's got a bunch of wonderful ideas and questions and intriguing thoughts that he wants to share with us today. So just stand by. You guys just saw the video, the preview video of the fourth book that's coming out that was published on March 4th. It was, I don't know if USPS, FedEx, or I can't think of it. Hey, who else? Anyone else who's delivering packages? Amazon hasn't dropped the books off, but they're on the way. I can't wait for them to get here. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of good, intriguing people inside that book, and they're all former guests on the show. The brave souls that decided to have their information put out there. They wanted to evolve so hard and have a showcase done about them, so that they're in the book. Make sure you pick that up. That's going to be on the website. But first, I can't put the link on the website until the people who actually are in the book actually get a copy of their book. But I need to know what the energy levels are. I need to know what the energy levels are like. So if you had a good day today, I need you to put a 1 in the comment section. Put a 1 in the comment section if you had a good day today. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe in bad days. I like to call them character building days. And right now we're having a character building moment. Trust me, yeah, we are. But if you had a quote unquote a bad day, I need you to put a 2 in that chumpy. Put a 2 in the comment section if you had a character building day. Put a 2 in the comment section if you had a character building day. It's kind of like I hope that things will get better. It's hopefully tomorrow will be a better day for you. If you had what I had up until this moment, and it'll pass. This is called growth. I need you to put a 0 in the comment section for outstanding day. Put a 0 in the comment section if you had an outstanding day. Put a 0 in the comment section. It's kind of like this, a bubble, and you're right there in the middle of that bubble, and nothing can penetrate that. I'm going to put my comments in. I see Claire King, thank you for tuning in. She had an outstanding or a good day today. Thank you, Faith Patterson, I'm sorry. Faith Patterson had a good day today as well. Shayla, what kind of day did you have?
I had a 0 day. Up until, like you said, this moment now. It has been trying, but you've done pretty well with handling this situation. Hasn't been as crazy, but it's still frustrating when things don't work the way you want them to, as much as we plan and prepare and you run into a little bit of hurdles. So is what it is, though. We'll get through it.
Gatekeeper Straight, No Chaser had a good day today. I see a couple of good days change to outstanding days. Good. That's a good thing. We are streaming currently right now. We're streaming on Facebook, on Clark Tent and Coach Clee page. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to those pages. Check out the lives. We go 3 years back. Bunch of good information on there. We're also streaming on YouTube under the same name, Coach Clee. If you haven't already subscribed to that page, hit that subscribe button. We also are on Anchor at the podcast. That'll be uploaded tomorrow after all the technical difficulties are done away with. We will be on Anchor, so you can listen to the podcast, and it'll be a different rendition of exactly what's going on. We also have the website. You see the website scrolling below, workwithclee.com. And on that website, you'll see a bunch of wonderful things. We just celebrated the anniversary of March 4th, the 2-year anniversary. It's the first book I wrote. It's a motivational empowerment book on helping you find your own breakthrough. We talk about toxic people and toxic situations. We talk about taking care of yourself. We talk about drinking water. We talk about, it's a roadmap for taking that leap of faith, for stepping out on courage, for changing your life. You got to step out on faith to get that breakthrough. That's on the website. Second book on the website, No Shade, All Light. 25 of your favorite quotes and what they mean to us. So Herb Thompson, Clarence Stokes, Jason Brown, and myself, 4 gentlemen wrote 25 of our favorite quotes and what they mean to us. So there's over 100 quotes in this book with meaning. And that's on the website as well. That's the second book. The third book, I'm proud of this book. It's a pocket-sized book. #Grudge. That's on the website as well. Don't check out the website right now. Wait till the live is over. We talk about holding on to grudges. This one is near and dear to things that are going on in the world right now. Holding on to grudges. Talk about mistakes, anger, setbacks. Everyone's held on to a grudge, including myself. It's a roadmap on living the better life. Les Brown said it best. If you're holding on to a grudge, it's like holding on to a hot piece of coal, expecting the person that you're mad at to get burnt, and instead they're not feeling the effects. Sometimes you just got to let that thing go and start the healing process. And that's what we're talking about in this book right here. That's on the website, 10 tips to LIG it, to let it go. I see Renee's on here. She said, hi, Shayla. She sees you up there. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to say hi to Renee. You've been on my mind. I've been praying for you. I'm so sorry for all the loss that you've encountered over the last month or so. So just thinking about you and hope you're, staying positive and prayerful as well.
All right. Okay. There we go. All right. I see some background communication. Things are being taken care of. Good. We're trying to bring this stuff to you. The special guest, he reached out to me a while ago, a couple months ago, wanting to come on the show. He's been watching the show on YouTube, kind of studying it. So he's prepared for the show. He said I believe he was studied enough for the show because he was going to stump us with some questions or some way of some different ways of thinking. So I'm looking forward to getting to that. But right now I'm going to move this on to Shayla's showcase. Shayla, you ready for your showcase?
I was born ready.
Here we go. Now she's gonna start talking. Here we go.
Right. So just special shout out, of course, to all of our wonderful sponsors. I will start with, if you have any interest in working from home, make sure you check out Images R LLC through their Images R call center, They offer home-based work solutions that empower you to think outside the cubicle. I love that line every time I say it. Contact Kiana Palmer, CEO, and check out their website, imagesrllc.com. And you can also follow her on Facebook. I know she always posts different opportunities and things like that. And so just make sure you check her out if you're looking for some home-based work solutions, which I know some of us are in this new world that we're living in today. And then moving on, we have DJ Bliss Productions for your musical needs, big or small. Let DJ Bliss take your party, corporate event, or reception to the next level. He specializes in all music genres. You can contact him on Facebook at DJ Bliss or via email djbliss717@aol.com. And then I always want to give a special shout out to Jay Moore, who keeps our website up and running and making sure we have everything up to date on there. So any live guests, if there's updates about what's going on with Coach Klee and Tillman Productions, he keeps us on our toes and really on top of everything. So I appreciate that. And that's all I have in this week's Shayla Showcase.
And there we are back. Yeah, I saw you were surprised again. I just want to give a shout out to also a former guest on the show, Damon Buxton. Those clips that you see in between, those are from him. The video that we saw, the lab preview, that was from him as well. I got to give him a shout out. He's been doing some wonderful things behind the scenes. Been working directly with our board of directors. One of them, of course, is Shayla. The other one is Jamon, who's trying to get things done for us right now as we speak. But I want to talk about what's your observations of the lab real quick. I know it's been a process trying to get that whole project done and completed, and we get everything done on our end, and then now we're just waiting on shipping from Amazon, UPS, FedEx, whoever, postal service.
Yes, and I know you are super impatient. So through the process, I will tell everybody I pay attention to the details. I'm very big on the little details, the little things that Coach Lee is like, it's fine, we can do without. But I'm like, let's go back and fix. I tried to double, triple check names, everything. Just little things, indentations. Trust me, guys, Coach Klee wouldn't have made those changes if it wasn't for me. But anyway, lots of back and forth. I'm excited though, because I think even though I've been here for all of, which is hard, I can't believe I'm saying this, like I've been here for all those guests and all those people, and I watch those shows and share them and probably watch them again. I think reading through them, I learned something new about different people, and so I'm excited. I'm excited for everybody to get a chance to read their own story. Everybody who has been a part of this, we appreciate your support. And I think it's just interesting when you watch something read something that's like about you. So learning and just reading like what you said, and maybe some people it was a couple of years back. So it's like, wow, there's where I was then and look where I'm at today. But I think everybody has something to learn. I think it's nice to read, and I mean, it's like a leisure reading opportunity and things like that. But I think it's fun and exciting as well. So I think there are how many chapters, Coach Glee?
43.
43.
43. And
So
43 and 3 special guests that we had to get special permission for. I'm excited that we got those in. They were 3 of some of the best guests. Not to take anything away from anyone else who's been on the show, but 3 of them that have been on the show and are no longer here with us. So we got to do a dedication in their honor.
yeah, I'm excited about that too. And I think it's just the special touches throughout, I think are really nice, and being able to read all of those and kind of go back to those moments in time when we were live with those individuals. Specifically, Vera's just always makes me, her words and what she says make me smile.
Yeah.
Anyway, you okay?
Yeah. I was just waiting for you to finish the sentence because I think we're good to go.
I'm finished with my sentence.
There we go. Guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for bearing with us. We had a bunch of things going on in the background that we got smoothed out. We brought the iron out. We ironed out those wrinkles. I got a special guest coming to the lab. He's a young man who's got an old soul. You know, he labels himself as the Black Enigma. You know, he's a thinker. He's a questioner. He's a philosopher. He's also NCO in the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring him to the stage real quick. I just want to introduce Marion Small. Marion, up.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm even better now that you can hear us.
Finally.
Yeah, we made this thing work.
Yeah, finally.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I started off as a country boy, born in Tennessee Colony, which is like 2 hours from Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And, you know, you could say I was living my best country life. I got a chance to work with my hands and, you know, pick peas and build porches and fences and all type of stuff. And I did that up until I was like 8 or 9, and then we moved to Dallas. And that's when I transitioned to the city life. So I met my best friend in 2005.
Okay.
I joined the military in 2007.
Okay.
I got married in 2008.
Okay. Pretty
deployed
busy.
in 2009. and in 2013 also. And I got on the AGR program in 2015, and I've been doing it ever since.
Okay. All right. We're going to dig a little deeper into that.
Okay.
I'm glad you're here. I'm excited that I wore this shirt in your dedication. I know you were talking about a little bit of Basquiat, so we're gonna talk about that a little bit too.
Okay.
I'm not trying to put my age out there, but I was enlisted in the United States Army too.
Okay.
Probably we'll just say approximately 10 years before you enlisted. Yeah. I was Fort Bragg parachute rigger, 92 Romeo.
Okay. Do you miss it?
It's kind of hard to say now because it's been so long. I did miss it originally. I did miss it for a while, but it's been so long and so many things have happened in between that I've got so many different other experiences as well. But I'm glad that I did have that moment in time in my life.
Okay.
I wouldn't trade that in.
Okay.
So, I'm excited that you're on the show, and I know that you've actually been doing your own little research and studying, and so I'm kind of curious on some of your perceptions on that you have of the show itself and topics that you want to cover.
Okay. I'm ready for it.
Okay, all right. Well, see, I
Yeah.
know you sent me on the registration form. You were talking about. I want to jump right into generational curses. Do you believe that generational curses is something that's very real?
I personally don't believe that they are real.
Okay, yeah.
So simply because of the environment that people are, I don't want to say bred in, but in a typical household, I'll use diabetes for example. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people think that that's a generational curse, because my great grandma had it, my grandma had it, my mama had it, and now I had it. So
Right.
that's not necessarily the case. So the only thing that transfers from the great grandma down to me are cooking habits. So
Hmm.
if my if my great great grandma used excess amount of salt when cooking food, and then she taught my grandma taught my mom how to do it, and now my mom taught me. That's that's just not that's not a curse to me. That's just cooking with the wrong ingredients and
Okay.
not being cognizant of what you're actually using.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you make the recipes, and that's nobody's fault, because during those times you really didn't really know. We cooked to taste anyway, not really by measurement. So that's a whole nother thing within itself,
Uh-huh.
with the reasoning why diabetes is so rampant in the African American community.
Right, right. So that's an interesting spin on that, and I can appreciate that because yes, diabetes can potentially, in some chances, some things are out of people's control. Some people do become
Mhm,
diabetic without their control, but
mhm,
potentially it can be done from just bad cooking habits or just bad teaching habits that were passed down.
mhm.
Like you said, grandma taught mom, mom taught you, and you're doing the same thing. It's just if you can change up the game itself or change the way the style of you cook or the foods that you eat or the spices or anything like that, that can potentially change.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
What do you think? At least for generational curses, when people say that they've been poor their whole life, and their parents were poor, and their grandparents were poor, and their grandparents' parents were also poor. Do you think that's a generational curse?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm gonna say no,
Okay,
uh, because the lack of money is not a problem; it's a symptom.
I
So,
agree with that. Please explain.
so if you figure out the symptom, work hard is like the standard, or the secret recipe to being poor, meaning going to a 9 to 5. Poor people trade time for dollars, and
Hmm.
rich people trade money to make money.
Hmm.
So if we're not taught how to invest, to know the difference between liabilities and assets, stocks and other stuff like that, we really that's I don't think that's a generational curse.
Okay, all right. I know, like you were saying, rich people they trade they don't like to waste their time. The most valuable commodity we have is our time. I mean,
Yes,
once
sir.
once it's gone, it's gone. And if you learn how to leverage money, if you learn, yeah, generational curses, or what's perceived as a generational curse, at least with money, I believe is potentially the lack of education as well. I know
I
in
agree.
traditional schools we're not taught about finances and savings and checking savings accounts and all those things. If you learn something about that, you can potentially change your life, which does change the life of your kids and family friends that are in your immediate circle. I do believe. I don't believe, like you were saying, that it's an actual generational curse because I think a curse would be something that's out of our control.
I agree. Now, I agree with that.
I
I agree
think
with that.
something that we can change with more education or awareness that can be
Mhm.
changed. I know you were talking again diabetes and finances. What else do you think might be a generational curse that we like to stereotype?
Alcoholism also falls in that category. Drug
Okay.
abuse. So if I grew up watching my uncles drink,
Hmm.
playing spades or dominoes or Texas Hold'em or whatever it was, and I was stuck in that environment, and that's all I knew. Subconsciously, I would develop that. Now, granted, it is some people that can like stern away from it, but the just the concept of being in that environment, a lot of people don't give the environment credit as far as molding and how detrimental it could be if you don't observe surroundings.
I agree. I think that play devil's advocate with both of that. I think there was a story I read. I forget which book, so don't quote me on this one. And I'll just blame it on Shayla, not me. But I think there were two sons that grew up in the same household as a father. The father was an alcoholic. The oldest son of the twins grew up to be an alcoholic as well. They're like, how did you grow up to be an alcoholic? And the son said, I watched my father. The youngest son grew up not to touch alcohol at all. It disdained it and didn't want to be around it at all. They asked the son the same question. How'd you turn out to not be an alcoholic and not drink alcohol? He said, same answer. I watched my father. Both of them came up in the same environment, same situation. Their mindsets were different. And one went right and one went left.
So I agree with that. So a lot of people, I know a few people that's actually like that because they watch their parents do it, and then they develop cirrhosis.
Yeah.
So in order for my, in order for my health to be good, I don't want to do the same thing that my dad did or my mom did. But some people could see that as, well, I'm gonna do that because that's mom and daddy. They the original teachers. Up until you go to school, so you learn all your good and bad habits from your parents.
Yeah. I see. Renee's on. Thank you. She said, "Hi, Coach Clee. I know I'm a little late. My bad. I'm getting looked at funny, but it's okay." I see Jamal's on. He went through each number of the day. His numbers for today. I know. Trust me, my day's back up to a 0. It wasn't 2 for a minute, but it's back up to 0. And Craig said, yeah, that's a good thing about environment and molding. And Shayla didn't like the fact that I put her on the spot. But Jamal, one of our board of directors, I think you know him very well. He asked, "What's your thoughts on you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink?" You struck a nerve with that one. You got to explain.
Okay. So I recently found out that it was another piece to that quote. So you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. But the key is to make him thirsty.
Oh, I like that.
So with my leadership style, I'm really an introvert. So this position forces me to be uncomfortable. I hate
your comfort zone. Good.
Yeah, I hate being in the spotlight. So when you developing leaders, one of the ways that's the creative process is how to figure out how to get a soldier to do something that they don't want to do, but it benefits both of us. So a lot of people still try to use old tactics on this new generation, and that's not working. So you kind of gotta, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You gotta speak the language, to do the translation, but put your spin on it, so you can be more effective. But I'm still learning how to make horses thirsty. That's not a task that you actually learn. It's not taught, I would say.
I'm like, so you gotta, how you gonna make you let this horse to water, you let this soldier to do this a job or this opportunity, and he or she, they don't want to do it. How do you make them thirsty? How do you make them, like you said in your own words, and make them want to do it that's beneficial for everybody? What if I'm in the Army? I'm an E4P,
Okay.
I got to move pile A over to pile B, and I have to do it before 1700. And you can see by the look on my face, I'm really not interested in doing this. Okay, so how are you going to make me thirsty enough to get this done in a way where, you could do it because you're an NCO. You could make me do 1,000 push-ups or whatever. But of course, I'm going to work a little slower. I'm going to work I'm going to have an attitude. How could you get me to do it in the best capacity?
Okay, that was a lot. But so the first thing I would say is people change, personalities don't. So whenever you figure out the personality of the soldier, which requires me to actually know you, I would know what makes you tick. Like, hey man, we could go on and get this through. It's almost like not a bribe, but a reward to access the dopamine. The faster we get it done, the quicker we go home, or the quicker we move on to the next thing. So it's really about knowing your soldiers, because every tactic is different for each person. You might have to yell at the top of your lungs for somebody. You might have to cut somebody else out, and then for other people, you can just be direct, and you getting the same result, but just different tactics.
I got you. Good answer. Good answer. I like that. Claire said he's been walking around enough. He gonna drink. And Mr. York's on. He had an outstanding day. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. York, former guest on the show. Yeah. So I know that we're putting a lot of information out there. How'd you get the name or the self-proclaimed name, the Black Enigma?
So on this journey that I created for myself, finding out who I am, I actually broke down who I am, like, who are you? And when you sent the registration form, I probably spent like 2 days on question 1, because it asks, who are you? And most people will say, oh, well, I'm Marion Small, I'm yada yada yada. I didn't ask you for your name. I asked, who are you? So when you start peeling back layers of who you are, okay, I'm a man. Okay, now what is a man? Then you get into, oh, well, a man is a provider. He sets the example for people to follow. He he fosters all of these morals that makes him a good leader. You name it, attributes. You're not telling me what a man is. You telling me what a man does.
Okay.
So whenever I figured that out, I'm like, okay, what is a man? So what I came up with is a man is a current state of being. So and the type of being that I am is enigmatic, which means difficult to interpret. But if you look at the etymology of enigmatic, it means concealed with a hidden meaning. So I love parables and stuff with a deeper meaning, kind of like stuff that we take for granted as face value, and we don't really know the meanings that we use them. Like nip it in the bud, for example. Have you ever heard of that term?
Oh, I think we all have.
So could I get your definition of what you think it is?
If I would hear it or say it, nip it in the bud would be like, we're gonna end this quickly, or we're gonna do this, nip it in the bud, and we're done with it.
Okay. So if you look at the history of that statement, nip it in the bud refers to plants. So whenever a leaf turns yellow on a plant, you nip it in the bud by removing the yellow leaf, because the plant will kill itself trying to turn that one yellow leaf back green. So in order to keep the flow of energy throughout the whole plant, you nip it in the bud and remove the one so the rest of the plant can grow. So parables like that caught my attention, and I've been researching ever since.
It's an interesting way of pruning.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Jamal said this is why we call him the enlightened one. He always makes and he said you actually you're doing pretty good in the spotlight too. I know you're not you're outside your comfort zone, but you're giving up some good knowledge and pearls. I think you're doing a tremendous job, and a lot of people on the platform may or may not know, like you said before, you're an NCO in the Army at E7. If you don't mind me putting that out there, I think that's an accomplishment in itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So to get that at what I would call, and correct me if I'm wrong, at a young age or a younger age than most, what mentors or styles did you model after to actually accelerate your career?
Most of my so I have like an old soul. So most of my friends or people that I consider friends are like 10 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So my uncle used to always tell me, if you want to be my age, you might want to do what I say and listen. So I took that advice and started listening to older people because I'm trying to get to where they are. And
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I did was learn the rules to the game. I
Okay.
and it was multiple people, throughout the years taught me different rules to the game, but it was up to me to research it for myself versus
Mm-hmm.
going by what somebody told me the rules were. Oh, you could get promoted in 3 years. Oh, really? I tried to do it in 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to prove them wrong, but I learned the rules to the game. So uh, I've been in the military 14 years, and
Okay.
11 of the 14 years I've been in NCO.
Okay. Wow. That's real good.
So,
Congratulations.
so I tried to set myself apart from everybody else, trying to avoid the spotlight, but that is not working out. You know, Quiet people make the loudest noises in rooms, is what I'm learning.
Yeah, I like that because sometimes the loudest person in the room is usually the one who's looking for the most attention that really doesn't know what they're talking about.
Exactly.
Yep. A couple of comments. Claire King said the comment was good. Mr. Yoy, we accept so many parables without understanding their true meaning. Absolutely. Perhaps you have established yourself as a great person to listen to. Great advice again from Mr. Yoy. There we go. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, on your registration form, and again, the reason why I wore this shirt, Basquiat. Please tell
Yes,
me,
sir.
who he is to you.
He is the inspiration to being creative.
Okay.
Because so I went to college, to the Art Institute for a few years on drawing and painting, and that's where I was introduced to him. I never heard of him and another guy by the name of Banksy. So the way that he would paint, I think that was the first time that I seen somebody that looked like me translate his emotions onto a canvas.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never seen anybody do it. And then when I started doing it, I'm translating how I felt to on a canvas, then I had a different respect for colors, because you attracted to how you feel, with colors. And if you feeling happy, you will naturally navigate to happy colors. If you
Okay.
down, you will, and it's crazy because if you mad and you try to use happy colors, it won't work.
Hmm.
You have to stop and then wait a few days until you reach that peak of happiness, and then you can do it. So, that's just from my personal experience. And then the childlike state when Basquiat paints, I think that's dope. Because whenever you think like a child, your creativity is limitless. Once we hit adulthood, we take things too for what it is. So we try to say, oh, well, that's not impossible because the laws of gravity can stop. Kids don't really think like that.
Yeah.
You,
Yep.
so in the way that and painting somebody's face could take hours, but if you just do a circle smiley face, you can still relate a message. So I thought that was inspiring.
I like that. I know when you put out there that he paints like childlike, and you like that about him because as the Bible says, as a child shall lead them. Again, as we get older, we get corrupted or we get used to a style of thinking
Mm-hmm.
or used to a certain way of life where that becomes our norm. We're used to rules as opposed to a child who, not saying they're not used to rules at all, but they're used to, their imagination's limitless. I
Right.
remember playing outside and thinking that we're on a trip to Mars or something, and that was totally normal. In my mind, it seemed 100% right. And when you let your imagination go wild, that's when your creativity comes in, and you have
Mm-hmm.
no idea what kind of thoughts you can produce.
Exactly. And that's why I like it so much because it's you can cut it on and off, and it's if you ever want to if you ever have a difficult situation, ask a child to do it and I guarantee you the outcome will be totally different.
Interesting. I'll keep that in mind next time I need to change my oil. That's a good thought though, because they actually will come up with a solution that may or may not make sense, but it's probably going to be an aspect that's simple, but something that we wouldn't have thought of on our own.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Jamon's saying, yeah, if you hang around him long enough, there is no such thing as a comfort zone, which is very true. I know he likes to knock me out of my comfort zone some more times than I even want to, and I'm the comfort zone guy. Get out your comfort zone. You're like, hey, you in your comfort zone, so he knocked you out of yours.
He's still doing it. He's still doing it. But I actually thank him for that, because now I'm learning how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I mean, Absolutely. It's an uncomfortable feeling.
It's an uncomfortable feeling that you got to get comfortable with. Again, mm-hmm. You surround yourself, you become the outcome of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you're surrounding mm-hmm. yourself with, like you said, older gentlemen that have made it, that have done it, that are successful, you too are going to fall in that realm as well. And I definitely, are you being an old soul, you're definitely falling under that realm.
Yes, sir.
We talked about Basquiat. We talked about perceptions, generational curses. But I want to talk about something that you also put down as well. Do you see just countries itself, or the United States, as a melting pot, or do you see it as a business or a corporation?
I see it as a corporation. So, mm-hmm. And the reason being is because kings and queens run countries, and presidents run corporations. Mm. If you look at the law dictionary of the United States, it says that it's a corporation. Mm-hmm. in black and white, like that's why I say I like to do my own research, because the knowledge is hidden, mm-hmm. but it's up to us to do the research and try to find it. It's 2 things you can't hide: the sun and the truth. So yeah, going back to it. So I believe that it is a corporation, and we are employees of this corporation. So whenever somebody asks, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" you're really asking them, "Are you an employee of the United States?"
Okay. And so with this corporation, it's laid out a business model. Do you think this business model could be followed for those entrepreneurs or anyone just actually employed by other means, that and that would be a successful model to follow and be successful?
Yes, sir. But you could, but that determines your definition of success.
Okay, what's your definition of success?
Actually being free, free from debt, free from, and actually enjoying life.
Basically having your time back.
Time is the only thing that we own, and majority of the world gets it from us. Mm-hmm. So if you can control your time, you can control your success. Is how I look at it. But in this world where everything is a commodity, it's kind of hard to defy the odds, So going back to when I was living in the country, I didn't really know anything about, the latest trends. Our life was survival, meaning we learned how to hunt, grow our own crops, build, you do stuff with our hands, and that was the term of survival. But in the city, that same survival turns into, now I have to watch my neighbor because they rob. Now I have to be cognizant of, 2 totally different environments, same definition, 2 totally different outcomes, So that that's a whole nother segment within itself.
All right, I see Shayla chimed in. She said, very interesting perspective. She never thought of it that way when you were talking about, the president. Kings and queens run countries. The president runs a corporation.
Yes. Also, sir, if you look at your ID, so you know that me and you and other employees, we are actually businesses. So if you look at your ID, your name is wrote in all caps. So the way that your name is on government or legal documents is totally different from the name that you write or how we taught to write it in school. Two totally different people.
Okay.
So, yes, sir.
No, I'm saying, why is that?
Because we are. So whenever you're born, you have a social security number, which is your tax ID number.
ID number. Yep.
To the U.S. corporation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a few people that actually prove. Whenever they get. I had a cousin who got a ticket, and they wrote his name in all caps, and he proved to the court that the way that his name is wrote, those are two totally different people, and he won.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, like I said, it's rules to every game.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't. We weren't fortunate enough to have the rule book. So now with technology, it's public. So it actually goes deeper than what I assumed that. The depths of the ocean. Still waters run deep.
Yes, it do. Yes, they do. The devil is in the detail, man. You find the detail, it launches you on springboard for more information.
That's true. That's true.
Yep, Jamon. Yeah, see, you say you I told you he makes you think, huh? So, continuing on with our conversation, I know what kind of questions or what kind of aspects or what kind of perspectives do you kind of give religion? You kind of stated before that you wondered why more people don't question either religion or certain religions or just the philosophies or the ways of teachings and thoughts.
Yes, sir. So from my journey, I saw that a lot of people were actually taught religion, and nobody actually very few people actually found religion.
Okay.
I was taught, to love God, because you would go to hell. And then I started asking questions. Okay, so do people love God because they love him, or do they love him because they scared to go to hell?
Mm-hmm.
So if you can answer that question truthfully, then you can start unlocking other questions. You know what I mean? So, like I say, I believe that the Bible is wrote in allegory, which means it's like punchlines that mean something else. So I wouldn't take nothing from the Bible, but people are using the tool as a way of life versus it being a guide to for you to walk through life. They sitting looking at the guide, navigating, not looking at the world. But if you learn how to look through it and use it as a tool, you can navigate a little more comfortable.
Okay. All right. Look at that. A different. Look at this guy. Interesting.
Yes,
So,
sir.
what do you have a certain Bible verse or story or parable that you can think of that you yourself uses as a guide?
I was always geared towards Revelations.
Okay.
Because a lot of preachers really didn't talk about it.
They shy away from it. Mm-hmm.
And so I started interpreting my own way. If you look at it from a child's perspective, it'll unlock something totally different. Like, for example, I can't really think of the verse, but it talks about the insect that had the face of a woman and the body of a scorpion, and it sounded like chariots running to battle. Well, if you put yourself in a child state, you'll be like, okay, that's a helicopter, because
Right.
only the face of the person is showing whenever they are steering it. The body of the helicopter is like a scorpion, and it sounds like chariots running to war.
Wow.
So whenever I started breaking it down like that, okay, so I was like, oh, okay, now this is the allegory piece. So this means something way deeper, but it's only for the people that are willing to question what they were taught. So a lot of people don't really question what they taught because it makes them uncomfortable. I don't want to go against what my mama taught me because my mama wasn't wrong. She taught me that, so then that's the mindset that you have to step out of. It's not necessarily she was wrong. She taught you what she knew. Going back to the cooking recipe, she only taught what she knew, not knowing the long-term effects of it, so yeah.
So would I be wrong in saying that you question things often and may see things, a lot of things that we kind of take for granted from a different point of view?
Yes, sir. I was questioning why I couldn't log in on the live.
I was questioning that too. You want to know what else I was questioning? How we were going to make this work and how live, because we had people on the way to your house with computers and technology, and we were going to make this thing work.
I appreciate it, but I said, whatever timing it was meant to happen. Maybe it was somebody who didn't get off work until 6:20 that needed to hear the beginning. That's the way I look at it. But yeah, so I just let it happen naturally.
It turned into be a great conversation. Like I said, I'm glad everything worked out, because I was getting out like, man, if the second or third chance doesn't work, I don't know. We're just gonna be real quick.
It is. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, Zaman said you question everything, but that's what he likes most about you.
Oh, that's dope. I appreciate that.
So let me, and not trying to kind of change thoughts a little bit, trying to change gears a little bit. What has military life done for you, and what would you how would you describe it to someone who's never been in, or to a student or a juvenile who's thinking about a military career?
So the military, from my experience, is the reason why I question everything.
Okay.
Because coming up in the ranks, a lot of my sergeants told me stuff, and I believed them because they were sergeants. So, and I never checked the black and white. So whenever I made E5, I told myself that I would never steer people like that. I want to talk with a purpose. A lot of people use their outer man voice, but if you translate the inner man and use the inner man as your outer voice, your words will be more impactful. So that's what I try to like actually live the parables that I say. I try to make my words count. So I would tell a juvenile individual the discipline and selflessness is probably the two most things that the two attributes that I would consider top and as far as I'm concerned, because a lot of people think that it's integrity. Oh, well, you have to have integrity. So integrity is doing the right thing at all times, even when no one is looking. That's the piece that a lot of people forget. So if you are at a stop sign by yourself, you're the only car on the street, and you run it, that's not integrity. So integrity can go off of percentages. Selflessness can't. I can't be 50% selfless because I'm still putting somebody else in front of me. So those are my two attributes that I think help mold me into who I am, and they take years to master. I'm still learning how to master them. So,
and the funny thing is, as once you become the master, you still have to learn how to master it. You never stop learning, and I think that's what keeps us humble. That's what keeps you growing, and particularly, yes. So, I know we're kind of jumping around here. If you could go back in time and talk to the younger version of yourself, before you became who you are today, the self-actualized person that you are right now, the current person, if you could go back and speak to the high school version of you or the 20-year-old version of you, what kind of advice would you give yourself?
That's a good question.
That's what I'm here for.
So so I would tell my younger self a few things to question. I didn't start questioning things until my first deployment.
Okay.
So I would tell myself to question something early on and learn as much as I can about liabilities and assets. Because
Okay.
I didn't fully develop the actual concept until I was like 28 or 29.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so from what they teach us is totally different
Mm-hmm.
from what we learning. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? When it comes to business, like I say, we are businesses, you know, so when you tell somebody to mind your business, it's a reason why they say that. Watch, watch the company you keep. That's a
Yeah.
form of a business. So this is a business transaction, and once you understand the real lingo, then you can see how much we've been tricked. You know, I always talk about the straw man illusion. You know, something that's not really what it is. We focus on it. You know, if I wanted to get your attention over here so I could do something over here, I would just create a distraction and you would follow it, not knowing what's really going on over here. And I feel like that's where we are with it, you know. So I would definitely tell my younger self that.
I like that. I like that, man. And I like those phrases that you just gave me a different outlook on as well. Mind your business and watch the company you keep. Exactly. Look at that. Look at that. Part two of the question, and you kind of already answered it a little bit. Let's just say that there's a kid, boy or girl, on the other end of this camera that never met you, never heard of you, never knew anything about you until watching this live on whatever platform they're watching it on, and they're intrigued, and they're like, "Wow, this dude's really blowing my mind right now. I want to be just like him when I grow up." What kind of advice would you give them?
The first thing I would tell them is figure out who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most critical. Like I said, I didn't actually, once you move past the question, you will understand it. So interpretation of the question is part of the question. You know, so like I say, adults take stuff for face value. So who are you? Oh, well, I'm such and such. Once you figure out who you really are,
Mm-hmm.
that'll be able to you know, then you'll be able to solidify your path that you want to take.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing who you are, I would say is
Okay.
for me.
I like that too. I like that. It's becoming again. My favorite phrase is from Earl Nightingale. Becoming a self-actualized person is knowing who you are and where you're going to go. Because I mean, if you know who you are and where you want to go, you're going to get there.
Yes,
It's
sir.
walking around with amnesia, aimlessly. You're just going to wander from here to here, and you're just going to stumble into stuff, get in trouble. But if you actually know, I am this and I'm going here, you know exactly. I'm going to take the fastest route I can. It may not be the fastest route to you, but you're going to avoid a lot of the nonsense.
Roger. And that's something similar to Alan Watts. Excuse me. Alan Watts had a quote that said, "Who you are is entirely dependent on who people told you are."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people are going through life right now doing stuff because somebody told them what to do. Hey, I think you should be a preacher.
Yeah.
I think you know, and then now they stuck in a profession that they don't even like. A lot of people went to college because somebody told them to do it. You know, now they have a degree, you know, in chemical engineering, but your passion is, I don't know, fruit flies or something, you know, being in tune with nature. You know what I mean? So until you figure out who you really are and what you love to do, you know, that's an honest conversation that you have to have with yourself. So if you lie to yourself, you'll pretty much get nowhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's another question for you. What do you consider your biggest strength, and what do you consider your biggest weakness?
Uh, I would say my biggest strength is the ability to think outside the box,
Okay.
which is a gift and a curse, you know, because you can't really cut it off. Like I'm always thinking about
Mm-hmm.
something, you know, so uh, that would be the strength. The weakness is caring too much.
How's that a weakness?
Because people who care too much carry the heaviest burdens.
You bear the weight of the world on your shoulders, everyone in your circle or everyone else. You can't turn that off.
Yep, and that's tied directly to selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you look at the allegory story of Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
when he died, he displayed the highest level of energy that humans produce, which is love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and that was a selfless act. You know what I mean? And he carried the weight of the world. You know, I'm not comparing myself to Jesus, but I'm using that you know as you know a more solidified
an analogy. I understand.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Way to answer that question. There we go. All right. What gives you the inspiration to wake up every single morning and tackling? And you said your brain never turns off. You bear the weight of the world on your shoulders. You care too much, which people can and do take advantage of. But what gives you the inspiration to keep moving forward, or like we like to say on this show, keep marching forth?
Taking it one day at a time.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because I literally take it one day at a time. Like I'm not really worried about Saturday right now.
Okay.
You know, and if you enjoyed it, so it has to do with enjoying the moment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you think about next week, you won't enjoy the trip to next week. You
Yeah.
know? So I look at it like life as a vehicle. You know, if you're staring at the windshield. So, you know, you only look at the rear view mirror for temporary moments to see how far you came.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people that get stuck looking at the rear view mirror and now they done lost focus on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, with technology, they done got so hip, they using the backup camera to back up now, you know. So even with that, you still taking your eyes off of moving forward. So, you know, I actually developed drive, you know, versus inspiration and motivation. So motivation for me, motivation and inspiration is good, but they equivalent to a diet. So
Mm-hmm.
diets are meant to be broken. Motivation is meant to have you know, accomplish something temporarily. You know, like, hey, we finna move this from over here to over here. So you come up with ways to motivate them. Drive is the lifestyle.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So instead of going on a diet for 8 weeks, you know, just to reach your goal and then go back to eating how you was eating, it doesn't make sense when you can make it a lifestyle and you can adjust accordingly. You know, so
yeah, it goes back to the phrase: motivation will get you started, but the drive will actually keep you going. You know,
I like that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that. I like that. I'm gonna have to use that.
You can go. You can borrow that. You got to put a CT behind it. I won't tell nobody. I won't tell them. So, how often How often, and in what ways do you challenge yourself? Yeah, put him on the spot. Yeah, I heard he was studying. I had to come up with something.
You coming with some? I'm talking about 600-meter questions. I like them though. So I use my age as the version of me.
Okay.
So right now I'm 31, which is version 3.1. So
Okay.
whenever I turn 32, I shouldn't have the same 3.1 attributes.
Mm-hmm.
I should have 3.2. You know, so and you know that goes with everybody gets older, but not everybody grows up.
Right.
You know, so in order to grow up, you have to keep pushing yourself, you know, outside of your comfort zone, you know, and plus I told my wife when we was in high school that I was gonna retire her by 40.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you're right on track for that goal. And so that reminds me, most of everyone who's on here knows I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan and a diehard Baltimore Ravens football fan. And I
Okay.
listened to a documentary from Ray Lewis. And Ray Lewis, while he was preparing for his final season, or he was in the twilight of his career. He was coming to a screeching halt pretty soon. They said, "How do you prepare for this upcoming season? Do you prepare for it the same way you did last season?" He said, "Absolutely not. I can't prepare for it how I did last season, because last season it's over. I can't. I can't do it the same way. I have to bring it new. I have to do something new. I have to energize myself new. I can't. I'm not that same person. That's not that same season. We're not that same. I have to attack it differently." And that's exactly what it sounds like you're saying. Each age you get, you have to attack that age in that moment very differently, and you come with it from a different perspective. I'm getting tongue tied right now because I see Mr. Yoy's comments, and I'm not going to acknowledge at all. We're just going to bypass that. Okay, that's important to show that.
It must have been about the Ravens.
It's something. I don't know because I'm not going to acknowledge it. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a Cowboys fan by default because I'm.
Hold on. Hold on. Say it again. Where's the mute? There we go. He's muted. Certain conversations aren't allowed on here. I'm gonna let him back on now. Absolutely, yeah. We're not saying that name on here. We're not saying the other one that's in the comment section. That gets no. Gets none. Let me ask you this though, because you seem very intellectual. Is there a book? Is there a story? Is there a person? Is there a certain situation that has influenced you, or that sticks out in your mind as a game changer? Something that has changed you, set you on a different path for your life that you can attribute. This one thing has done this.
Yes. So, like I said, on the when I was deployed in 2009, I watched a documentary called Loose Change. They took it down. It's no longer available on YouTube anymore. But the original version actually talked about 9/11 on quote unquote conspiracies on like what actually happened, and it was this dude's perspective, and it opened up my eyes to something that I was never aware of. That the news would actually lie. A lot of stuff that was being reported in the U.S. wasn't actually going on, or in the part of the world where I was. So me knowing that, and mind you, I was I was 19 when I deployed, so I was still a young mustache. So I had a lot of questions, and that was one of them. Why would they lie? And then I kind of went down the rabbit hole, and I had LASIK on my third eye, and
wow,
that allowed me to see stuff that's been around the whole time. I just didn't know what it was, So I would say that documentary Loose Change. Listening to Dick Gregory, he was one of my mentors that I never met, my virtual mentor. And a lot of the elders, my mama, telling me stories of like what actually happened back when she was coming up versus what we were taught in school. I was always taught that Martin Luther King died on the balcony. I didn't know nothing otherwise. He died at the hospital, and even the King family sued the government for that conspiracy, and they actually won, but they never talked about the case being won.
Right.
And I wanted to know, why was I taught otherwise? So that 2009 deployment really opened up my eyes to the real world, so to speak.
Absolutely. Again, I remember talking to my grandfather's mother. She died when I was 9 years old. We would take trips to South Carolina and visit her on her farm, and just hearing, she was born 1800 sometime. I don't know the exact date, but the conversations that we had were intriguing because, again, like you said, some of the things that she told me her life were not the same things that I was learning in school. A different spin on it, and as bad as I would think African Americans person's life would be in the 1800s. I mean, in her family, her culture, where she was at, her life wasn't that bad.
Yes, sir.
They may, I don't know, they may not have had what the social norm or what was needed, but I mean, they were on point. They were on point.
I agree. And to when you were talking, I was thinking about, what you said on how the stuff that she said, was totally different from what you were taught.
Mm-hmm.
Even the term Uncle Tom. So
Mm-hmm.
I never read the book Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Cabin, yeah.
And it's a negative connotation on it. But if you actually read the book, Uncle Tom was a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And it was based on a real dude named Josiah Henson.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually freed hundreds of slaves
Mm-hmm.
and ended up getting killed because he didn't tell on two female soldiers, not female soldiers,
I
two
understand.
female slaves that ran away.
Mm-hmm.
So he was killed. But in the movie that they put out, the Uncle Tom character died protecting the master's house. So even in that little analogy or true life statement right there,
Mm-hmm.
images are more powerful than words.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't understand how they control us, you will be lost in the sauce. So that's why I just go back and look at the black and white, because I wouldn't have never knew that about Uncle Tom. So when you call somebody Uncle Tom, you actually calling them a hero.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I also heard that Uncle Tom was also known for not beating any African American women.
Yes, sir. He also took cotton out of his bag and put it in the other slaves' bags so they wouldn't get beat. He did a lot of heroic stuff that I never knew about, up until recently.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I like that. I like this. Has been a good conversation, and I know we didn't get to do the preamble, what I like to do. So we're kind of flying off the cuff a little bit, but it's been very fruitful and very knowledgeable. Through the course of conversation, is there anything that I may have skipped, or is there any topic that you would like to cover right now? I'm going to give you the floor is yours.
Not that I can think of at this moment. I just really appreciate you for allowing me to be on your platform.
Absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate the fact that you wanted to come on. I appreciate the information that you shared. I appreciate the drive that you have. I appreciate the way you question things and the new perspective that you brought, just for things that we would consider something simple, or things that we may not even have thought of in that way. Looking at the United States as a corporation, the president is running the business, where companies just buy our ISBN, or I'm sorry, that's for books, our tax number. I'm confusing so many things, but yeah, it's interesting. Mind the company that you keep, mind your business, and things like that. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes,
I think we all learned something from this.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Again, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. And real quick, I got to give a shout out to Damon Buxton just for this right here. Check this out. Gotta love them things. Gotta love them things. Ladies and gentlemen, he's still on here, and I got him in the any room real quick. But I do these shows. I put on to put on, and I say that to say this: if you've got a business, a product, or a positive message that you're looking for a platform to get that information out on, let me know. Inbox me, text me, get a hold of me. I will schedule you an appointment to get you in the lab. Tell everyone to get their pen and their pad, and we're gonna have fun discussing it. Again, if you've got a business, product, or positive message, we're gonna get you on the show. All right. I want everyone to live their life with a purpose and evolve so hard. We'll bring it back on real quick. Here we go. Let me unmute him. Marion, I appreciate you coming on. I don't have the gift in front of me, but for donating your time, I do have a gift for you that I will be sending to you. For coming blessing my show, I'm going to bless you with the gift, and I will make sure I get that to you. But I got a special guest coming to the lab next week. You know who the special guest is?
Who?
I can't tell you that, but you got to tune in and see. You got to tune in and see for yourself.
I can dig it. I can dig it.
Appreciate that, man. I had a wonderful conversation. I wish you. I hope you flourish in life itself. I want to stay in contact. I hope things go well with you. Thank you for coming on the show. We got to do one more thing before we leave the show. Do you know what that last thing is?
I think I have an idea, but
What do you think the idea? Let me know. Tell me.
Is it the energy levels?
No, we did that. We already did the energy levels. We got to do the money dance. You don't know what the money. Oh, see, you haven't studied the show fully. We got to hit him with the money dance.
Is that what it is?
Yo, you got gentlemen for tuning in. It's your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker, Coach Clee, coming at you. I want everyone to stay safe and evolve so hard. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good night. Peace.